Have you ever felt like you're working hard, pushing yourself every day, but somehow you're still stuck in the same place? Like no matter how much effort you put in, you're not getting anywhere? If that sounds familiar, I want to tell you something that might change the way you see yourself. You're probably growing a lot more than you think. The problem isn't that you're not improving. It's that your brain is playing a sneaky trick on you, making it hard to notice your progress. This mental trick is something I call the growth blind spot, and it's why so many of us feel like we're falling behind, even when we're actually moving forward. Today, I'm going to walk you through why this happens, how it affects the way you see yourself, and what you can do to start recognizing the incredible strides you're making, even if they feel invisible right now. So, let's dive in and uncover the truth about your growth. The first thing to understand is that your brain is wired to reset its expectations every time you improve. Imagine you're climbing a mountain, and every time you reach a new height, your brain erases the memory of how hard it was to get there. That new height becomes your starting point, and suddenly, you're only focused on the next peak. This is the growth blind spot in action. When you learn a new skill, like giving a presentation at work without sweating bullets, or when you handle a stressful situation with a calm head, your brain doesn't throw you a party. Instead, it treats those wins like they're no big deal, like you've always been able to do them. That's why the things you're amazing at now, like organizing your day, talking to new people, or solving problems that used to keep you up at night, feel so ordinary. But here's the truth, they're not ordinary. They're evidence of how far you've come. Think about something you do easily now that used to feel impossible. Maybe a couple of years ago, you'd spend hours stressing about sending a tricky email to your boss, rehearsing every word to make sure it sounded perfect. Now, you probably type it out in 10 minutes and hit send without a second thought. Or maybe you used to dread speaking up in meetings, but now you share your ideas without your heart racing. These changes didn't happen overnight. They're the result of months or even years of effort, practice, and growth. But because your brain has normalized these skills, you don't give yourself credit for them. It's like your mind is running a background update, constantly raising the bar on what feels normal, so you never stop to celebrate how much you've improved. This mental reset doesn't just hide your progress. It can make you feel like you're not good enough. You start focusing on what you haven't achieved yet, like getting that promotion or mastering a new hobby, instead of appreciating how much you've already accomplished. And it's not just you. Everyone experiences this. Your friend who seems to have it all together? They're probably looking at their own life, wondering why they're not further along. That's because our brains are built to keep us striving, not to pat us on the back for what we've already done. But here's the good news. Once you understand this, you can start to work around it. You can train yourself to see the progress that's been hiding in plain sight. One of the biggest reasons we miss our growth is that we're too busy comparing ourselves to others. You scroll through social media, and it feels like everyone else is living their best life, landing dream jobs, traveling the world, or looking effortlessly confident. Meanwhile, you're wrestling with your own doubts, your messy to-do lists, and that one mistake you made last week that you can't stop thinking about. It's easy to feel like you're lagging behind, like everyone else has cracked the code to success while you're still figuring it out. But here's what you're missing. You're only seeing their highlight reel. You don't see the late nights they spent stressing, the failures they didn't post about, or the moments they felt just as lost as you do. And guess what? They're looking at your life, your achievements, your confidence, your unique strengths, and thinking the same thing about you. This comparison trap is a universal problem. It's like we're all starring in our own behind-the-scenes documentary, full of doubts and struggles, but we're watching everyone else's polished movie trailer. The reality is, no one's life is as perfect as it looks from the outside. That colleague who always seems on top of things, they might be panicking about a deadline right now. That friend who posts about their amazing travels, they could be dealing with the same insecurities you are. The point is, comparing your full, complicated reality to someone else's curated image is a losing game. It distorts how you see yourself and blinds you to your own progress. Instead of measuring yourself against others, try measuring yourself against who you were a year ago. Ask yourself, am I handling challenges better? Am I more confident in certain situations? Am I solving problems that used to stump me? The answers will show you just how much you've grown. Another reason your progress feels invisible is that your brain has a habit of forgetting the struggles you've overcome. Once you solve a problem, it's like your mind files it away and pretends it was never that hard to begin with. Remember the first time you had to do something big, like move to a new city or take on a challenging project at work? It probably felt overwhelming, like you'd never figure it out. But now, looking back, those moments don't seem like such a big deal. That's not because they weren't important. It's because you've grown so much that those challenges are now part of your normal. Your brain has archived them, leaving you focused on the new problems you're facing today, like they're the only ones that matter. To break this cycle, you need to start collecting evidence of your growth. One simple way to do this is to keep a progress journal. Every week, write down one thing you did well. Maybe you stayed calm during a tough conversation, or you figured out a tricky task faster than you expected. It doesn't have to be a huge win. Even small moments count. Over time, you'll have a record of how much you're improving, and it'll be harder for your brain to trick you into thinking you're not moving forward. You can also look back at old challenges to remind yourself how far you've come. Think about a time when you felt completely out of your depth, maybe learning a new software or navigating a difficult relationship. How do you handle those things now? Chances are, you're doing them with a lot more ease and confidence. That's not an accident, that's growth. The truth is, you're not stuck, even if it feels that way sometimes. Your skills are sharpening, your confidence is building, and your ability to handle life's challenges is getting stronger every day. The growth blind spot might make it hard to see, but the evidence is there if you know where to look. So, start paying attention to the little wins, stop comparing yourself to others, and remind yourself that your brain's tendency to normalize your progress is just a sign of how much you've achieved. You're not standing still, you're climbing, and you're doing better than you think. Now that you know your brain's been hiding your progress with this growth blind spot, let's talk about how it's not just about noticing your wins. It's about building a system to keep seeing them, day after day, so you don't fall back into feeling stuck. The truth is, your growth isn't a one-time event. It's a quiet, steady climb that's happening even when you're not paying attention. But without a way to track it, your brain will keep resetting the bar, making you feel like you're starting from scratch every time you face a new challenge. So, how do you make your progress undeniable, even to yourself? How do you train your mind to stop overlooking the incredible ways you're evolving? Let's keep going and explore how your resilience is quietly upgrading, how your challenges are proof of your growth, and how you can create a simple habit to shine a light on the journey you're already rocking. One of the most powerful signs of your progress is how you bounce back from setbacks. Think about the last time something threw you off, a missed deadline, a tough conversation, or even just a bad day where everything felt heavy. How long did it take you to shake it off? Maybe you felt frustrated for a few hours, but then you picked yourself up, made a plan, and kept moving. Now, compare that to a couple of years ago. Back then, a similar setback might have derailed you for days, maybe even a week, with endless overthinking and self-doubt. That difference isn't random. It's your resilience getting stronger, like a muscle you've been training without even realizing it. Your ability to recover faster, to not let small hiccups spiral into big crises, is a huge marker of growth. But because you're so focused on the next hurdle, you don't stop to notice how much better you're handling life's curveballs. This quiet upgrade in your resilience shows up in other ways, too. Maybe you're better at brushing off criticism now, not because you don't care, but because you've learned to separate your worth from someone else's opinion. Or maybe you're navigating unexpected changes, like a sudden shift at work or a curveball in your personal life, with a kind of calm you didn't have before. These aren't just happy accidents. They're the result of all the times you've faced tough moments, learned from them, and come out stronger. Your brain might not give you a gold star for these upgrades, but they're there, working behind the scenes to make you more adaptable, more confident, and more capable than you were before. So, the next time you catch yourself handling something with more ease than you expected, pause for a second and give yourself a nod. That's not just luck, that's you leveling up. Another way to see your growth is to look at the challenges you're facing right now. It might sound strange, but the fact that your problems feel bigger or more complex is actually a sign you're moving forward. When you were just starting out, maybe you were stressed about getting the basics right, like showing up on time or figuring out how to use a new system at work. Now, your worries might be about leading a team, making strategic decisions, or balancing multiple responsibilities. Those bigger challenges aren't proof you're failing. They're proof you've graduated to a higher level. You can't face advanced problems without first building the skills to handle them. It's like playing a video game. You don't get to the tougher levels unless you've already mastered the earlier ones. Your brain might trick you into thinking these new challenges mean you're not good enough, but the reality is they're a badge of how far you've come. To really drive this home, think about the kinds of questions you're asking yourself these days. A few years ago, you might have been wondering, can I even do this job? Or will I ever figure this out? Now, your questions are probably more like, how can I make a bigger impact? Or, what's the best way to grow from here? That shift in focus, from survival to strategy, isn't small. It shows you're not just getting by anymore. You're thinking about how to thrive. Your problems have evolved because you have. They're more nuanced, more meaningful, because you've built the foundation to tackle them. So, instead of beating yourself up for not having all the answers, take a moment to appreciate that you're even asking these bigger questions. That's growth in action. So, how do you make sure you don't keep missing all this progress? The key is to build a habit that forces you to see it, something simple that fits into your life without feeling like a chore. One way to do this is to create a weekly reflection ritual. At the end of each week, take 5 minutes to write down one thing you handled well. Maybe you solved a problem faster than usual, stayed patient in a stressful moment, or tried something new even though it scared you. Don't overthink it. Just jot down what comes to mind. Then, once a month, read through your notes and look for patterns. You'll start to see how those small moments add up, how you're getting better at things you didn't even realize you were working on. This isn't about bragging to yourself. It's about collecting proof that you're not the same person you were 6 months ago. Another trick is to anchor your progress by comparing yourself to your past self, not to other people. Social media makes it so easy to fall into the trap of thinking everyone else is ahead, but that's just noise. Instead, pull out an old journal, an email, or even a photo from a year or two ago, and ask yourself, what was I struggling with back then? How do I handle those things now? Maybe you used to lose sleep over a tight deadline, but now you break it into steps and get it done without panicking. Or maybe you used to shy away from tough conversations, but now you approach them with clarity and confidence. These shifts might feel subtle in the moment, but when you stack them up, they tell a story of someone who's growing stronger every day. The beautiful thing about this approach is that it doesn't just help you see your progress, it builds momentum. When you start noticing your wins, even the small ones, you feel more motivated to keep going. It's like adding fuel to a fire that's already burning inside you. You realize that every step you take, every challenge you face, is making you better, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time. And the more you practice this, the less power that growth blind spot has over you. You start to trust that you're moving forward, even on the days when it feels like you're stuck. So, here's the takeaway. You are growing, right now, in ways you might not see yet. Your resilience is getting stronger, your challenges are proof of your progress, and with a simple habit, you can make that growth impossible to ignore. Stop letting your brain trick you into thinking you're not enough. Start collecting the evidence, your quicker recoveries, your bigger questions, your quiet wins, and let it remind you that you're not just keeping up, you're soaring. Keep this practice going, and watch how it changes the way you see yourself. You're doing better than you think, and the proof is all around you. If this resonates with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation going. What's one small win you've noticed in your life lately? Share it, and let's celebrate it together.